Zach Life Beat Depression. It's day 870, and we're back with another somatic healing session to wipe out depression. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here now. Anyone who's tuning in later, as you know, it's a martial arts for mental health show, and we like to focus in on those mental health tools first. First and foremost, very powerful tool, that tool of gratitude, which couldn't be more appropriate because it's currently day 9 of our 21 days of gratitude program through Hope to Courage. So I want to start my gratitude section with Hope to Courage themselves, with the team at Zentai who put together this movement, to Naomi, to Alan, to Samia, to everybody out there who's supporting one another and sharing free mental health tools and free resources that could potentially empower people to save their lives. There's a lot of cool free stuff going on. If you check out the www.hopetocourage.com website, and it's free for a limited time. Like I said, this is day 9 of our 21-day routine. So at the end of those 21 days, a lot of those other resources are going to disappear. I'll still be here for you to support your growth every single day for free, but there's a lot more opportunity for you right now available at that hopetocourage.com website. So I want to shout out gratitude to Hope to Courage, gratitude to Zentai, gratitude to all the supporters out there who have been building each other up and sharing free mental health tools. It's one of the best things we can do for one another is show each other how we can move forward, show each other what types of tools have worked for us, and then by doing so, empower others with tools for themselves. So gratitude going out to everyone at Hope to Courage. Also want to shout out gratitude today to Century Martial Arts, who finally got their Instagram page back. They were hacked a little while ago, and I was worried that we weren't going to get them back, but they're back in full depression fighting action, helping us raise awareness out there, and also, supporting the cause and just being a really cool, amazing company. So if you're not following them, you should check them out, give them a follow, give them a little support, because they're literally the only martial arts manufacturing company that's supporting our cause out here. They helped me out when I was in Las Vegas, and the soles of my shoes were worn through. They sent me free kicks, and they also sent me some merch. They've helped raise awareness on their site, and we've done some work together to help kids fight cancer through the Kids Kick Cancer movement. They're really an amazing company. They've also sent me these gloves, which I'll probably be using today. We'll see how things go. I'll probably be using these. I will probably be, a couple double B's, probably be using these to boost up my intensity on that heavy bag as we move through our session. Remember, if you are hitting the bag, make sure that you're wearing proper protection. Wrap up those investments. Protect those digits. Those are your fine motor skills, your fine motor tools right there. You want to protect them at all costs. So make sure you're wearing wraps and good gloves. Get yourself some good gloves. Don't go for the cheapest possible gloves. This is the Drive series. It's a good entry-level glove. It's got a gel pack in there. Feels real good on the bag. Gives you good feedback. Nice rebound action, so you can kind of work with a flow with them. And yeah, they're a good basic kind of entry-level glove that has quality, and it's not too cheap, right? Don't want to go too cheap. You can go kind of middle of the road or higher end as you continue to make progress. So I might be using those today, but I just want to mention that gratitude in the gratitude section, Century Martial Arts. Super grateful for them being back. Looking forward to doing some more work together in the future. Also, nope, that's it. Also, I also want to shout out gratitude, as always, to everybody tuned in now and anyone who's tuning in later. Lisa the Luminary, I see you. And Slayer Ken, I see you as well. Thank you so much for being regular, being consistent and dedicated. Through consistency and dedication, we're able to achieve so much. It's really mind-blowing how far I've been able to come just by staying consistent with that daily routine, which started with 5 to 10 minutes of training per day, and that was my doorway to progress, my doorway to success. Now I often train for hours, and I feel great about it. I'm not overextending. I'm just building myself up every day, and the only reason I was able to get here is through that consistency and dedication. So shout out to Ken for sharing your numbers at 478 days of consecutive training. It's day 870 for me today, which means, Lisa, it's got to be 570 for you, because you haven't missed a day since day 300. So crushing it out there. Good stuff. Thank you guys for sharing. And Ken says it's pretty cold out there in Atlantic City. It's quite cold over here in Colorado as well, but we're going to get moving. We'll get warmed up. We're going to get into our routine, and it's going to be all good. We'll have our standard rounds today. It is a Monday, so make sure you thought about what you are grateful for today to put you in that positive mindset. Give yourself credit for that number, that progress and consistency. Share it with the world to be that change. And now let's talk about our technique for today's rounds. It's going to be 3 rounds, 3 minutes each, 1 minute breaks in between to catch your breath and drink some water. Make sure you've got water. And yesterday we covered the spear elbow in our low intensity session. If you remember the spear elbow, we rotate through the hips and shoulders. We kind of keep that guard tight right here, right? And we turn through, extending that elbow forward. So like stabbing. It's a sharp stabbing elbow attack going straight in. Whoosh, that's the spear elbow. And that's one that you can use on the bag. You can put it in to your routine and drive that spear elbow right into the bag. The other elbow that's very similar to it though, and that's what we're going to use today, is the rising elbow. So for the rising elbow, if you've got a heavy bag like this, it's not a good tool to work on that heavy bag. You're just going to slice up the tip of your elbow a lot, maybe mess up the bag. But it is better, it's good to use on the round bag. So if you got a teardrop shaped bag, round bag, an aqua bag out there, or even if you're working with Bob, that depression dummy, he's a great technical tool. And you can train that rotating, that rising elbow to land right on the chin, right where we want it. So we're going to break down the difference between the spear elbow and the rising elbow. And then I'll also give you how you can apply them in self-defense situation, in shadowboxing situation, in sparring. A lot of different opportunities to use those tools in there. And we'll be mixing up our routine for elbows. We've got 3 days of elbows now. Got over 6 days of hands. And by the end of this 21-day routine, you're going to be equipped with a little bit of each of the art of 8 limbs. So all 8 weapons we're going to be sharing here for free in this program. Very beginner friendly. Very open and accessible, so feel free to catch it at your own discretion. If you're tuning in late, catch it at your own discretion on our IGTV page or on Sack Life Daily on YouTube. That being said, let's get into it. Visualize your opponent. Visualize that depression dummy. Remember, embody that thing that you are fighting against. If it's depression or anxiety, make sure you label that dummy, the depression dummy, the anxiety dummy, and visualize knocking those lies out of its stupid face as we roll forwards. So let's break down this rising elbow strike here. Now with the spear elbow, it's kind of a forward momentum elbow strike. We're rotating through, right? That's the one we did yesterday. With the rising elbow, it's like an uppercut, but it's a short range uppercut. It's just going to be right up that center line there. And what we're going to do is we're going to rotate through the hips and shoulders very similarly to the spear elbow. But instead of leaving the hand here by the temple and maintaining guard, we're going to comb the hair back. So we're going to take that hand and just reach back towards the back of the head as we rotate through. And that's going to generate that upwards rotation through the elbow. And that is our rising elbow. And we can do it with the lead elbow, combing the hair back, twisting through the hips and shoulders, letting that elbow slide straight up that center line. Or we can do it with the rear elbow. Again, combing the hair back and turning through the hips and shoulders up that center line. NJ Garden State of Mind, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. All right, so that is the basic breakdown on that rising elbow. Pretty simple. And again, not a good one for the heavy bag. The spear elbow is more useful there, but you can still practice it in your shadowboxing technique, and you can work that into your heavy bag routine. So maybe, toss your jab, your cross, visualize the opponent coming in, you drive that elbow up, and then roll into some other creative combos there. So you can still have fun with it even if you're using that heavy bag technique as well. Shout out to Jay, my brother out there on the East Coast. Appreciate you. So that's it. We covered the rising elbow. We have those other elbows from the other day, and we're going to mix them all into our creative flow routine as we continue to grow together and we grow through what we go through. Let's do it. Let's get some fighting spirit going from our sweet retro synth boombox over here. And Bluetooth. Yeah. Daily beat sounds, right? Should be good. Like I said, I'll probably pop those gloves on and boost up my intensity as we go. It's important to challenge yourself to your skill level. Give yourself a challenge. If you don't do it, you won't be able to grow. There's no growth in that comfort zone. Let's pop into stance. Visualize that target. Square up the hips and shoulders with your visualized target. Get your guard high, right? Fingers closed, thumbs tucked. And let's start with those basics. 1, 2, whoosh, whoosh, down that center line. And move around with it. If you're advanced, especially, you guys, pros out here, you've been doing this for almost 500 days. Move around and have fun with it. throw at your intensity, use those tools you've already got, and let's start working in those elbows that we practiced the last 3 days. Step into the round, swap the hands, boom. Rotate through for the rear round, and back to stance. Toss the fundamentals in between, bam, bam, bam. Huss, huss, huss. Exhaling on those strikes, and work some rounds in there. And back to stance. Work the spear elbow in there from the other day. Whoosh. Spear elbow right down that center line. Visualize and making contact with the target. Back to stance. And now we're going to add in that rotating, that rising elbow strike. Starting with the rear rising elbow strike, visualize your opponent. Take a step forwards. Remember, elbows are close range attacks. Take a step forwards with that lead foot. Sink it on the knees just a little bit. And then go ahead and rotate through the hips and the ball of the rear foot, driving that elbow up the center line, just like we do for uppercuts. You want that elbow in the center line so we can get under their guard. Comb the hair back and rotate through the hips and shoulders. Back to stance. Try to keep this opposite hand high and keep that guard tight, chin tucked, right? And let's move through it. Start with the 1-2, pop, pop. Step in, get close, right? Sink down, and then rotate through for the rising uppercut. Boom, uppercut elbow right there. And back to stance. Guard tight, chin tucked, stay balanced. Let's work that rear rising elbow one more time in isolation. Boom, right there. There's your rising elbow. Now do it with the step. Work that step in. Small step forwards. We're sinking down on the knees, and then boom, driving that elbow right up the center line and back to stance. Remember, stay balanced. Don't let those feet come together. Don't get into a narrow stance. Stay nice and balanced here and visualize that opponent. Start mixing in those other tools. Bah, bah, bah. Have fun. Get creative with it and start working on those new ones. The rising elbow. Bam, bam, bam. Visualize your opponent. Shh, shh, shh. Exhale on those strikes. Shh, shh, shh. And toss that rising elbow in there. Boom. Back to stance. Notice the footwork. I hope you can see the feet. When I step in, right, I'm stepping in here. That rear foot follows just a little bit. And now I'm going to rotate on the ball of the rear foot. Knees got to be bent so we can rotate on that ball of the foot. Rotate on the ball. Turning through the hips and shoulders. Driving that elbow up as this hand combs the hair back. And that's your rising elbow. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Back to stance. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Shh, shh. Keep the hands going. Shh, shh. Work those tools you enjoy. Shh. And start working on balance. Focus balance. And you can pick up speed, flow. And the faster you go, the more power you'll be able to generate. That's the end of round one. Catch your breath. Drink some water. Make sure you're checking in on you and you're not seeing those signs of overreaching. Remember, we want to stay sharp. We want to work out smart and not push too hard. If we go too hard, we're going to need days off. And our goal is active recovery days. That way, we never have to stop growing. We never have to stop learning. And we can just continually improve ourselves, our self-defense, our physical fitness, our mental resiliency every single day. So stay hydrated. Make sure you're checking in on yourself and looking for those signs. Dizziness, nauseousness, lightheadedness, all of that is going to mean you're going to need to dial that intensity back. Tune into you. As long as you're giving yourself a challenge, you're going to be able to continue growing. All right, now we're going to start working on that lead rising elbow. We're popping back into stance here. It's round two. And for the lead rising elbow, we're doing it in isolation first with no step. Just from your Muay Thai stance, we're going to rotate on the ball of that front foot. We're going to turn through the hips and shoulders. And we're going to reach back to comb the hair, right? Comb the hair back, boom. That elbow comes up. And we want to bring the hand in tight to the shoulder. That's going to sharpen up that elbow as well and make it more devastating. So let's practice that just a little bit in isolation again. Lead, rising elbow here. Boom, and back. Keep the guard tight on the opposite side. Lead, rising elbow, and back. Notice I'm rotating. I'm going to keep my eyes focused. Visualize that opponent. Visualize my target, and I'm rotating. But I'm not dropping my guard. I'm not turning my head away. Keeping the chin tucked in there. Keeping defense tight the whole time. Offense at the same time. Back to stance and start working in those fundamentals. Work in those other tools that we practice. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Visualize that opponent and start working the rising elbow in. Boom. And back to stance. Bah, bah, bah. Rising elbows and back. Work the step in now. From that balanced stance, we're going to take a small step in and we're going to twist through. Boom. Drive that elbow up guard tight, right? We're still visualizing. We're still looking at that opponent. We're trying to come up, crack them right in the jaw, make them see stars, right? Miss the jaw, go for the nose. But we want to bring that elbow straight up, combing the hair back, and using the rotation for power. Step in for the 1-2, pop, pop. Step back out and step in for the rising lead elbow. Boom. You can put a little hop in there as well. Doesn't have to be just a step. It could be a step with a hop. So we'll push off that rear foot. Boom. And twist through, driving that rising elbow up through the face of that visualized target. Back to stance. Square up hips and shoulders after every combo. And if you're advanced, like I said, work that movement. Work that challenge to your level. And use those tools we've already practiced. You got the spear elbow. You got the round elbow. And now you've got the rising elbow. Boom. Lots of different elbow strikes in just 3 days. Put them together. Start to make it your own. This is round 2. Lead rising elbow. Let's go. Work the rear rising elbow. Boom. With the step, with the lunge. Elbows are close range, so we're going to want to pop into range. Bang, 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 bang. And then pop back out. Out of that danger zone. Keep it moving. Round, round. Rising elbows. Let's go. Boom. Double rising elbow strike there. Back to stance. 1-2. Keep it moving. Work your other tools. Hooks, uppercuts, jab, cross. Round elbows. A little bonus elbow action there. Rear round. Back to stance and rising elbows. Let's go. And almost there. Keep it going. That's the end of round 2. Catch your breath. Drink some water. Check in on you. Make sure you're working and you're showing up for yourself. You deserve what you give. So give it 100%. That way you can guarantee yourself results and we can keep growing together. All right. We're going to be into our final session now. So, I'm going to put on my gloves. I'm going to use lots of elbows that we've learned so far on this bag. I'm also going to protect my investments and throw some hands so I can get that higher intensity that I'm looking for. I'm going to get that challenge in that I want for today to my level, taking all things into consideration. So make sure you guys are challenging yourselves too as well. We got 9 seconds. Pop in the stance. Visualize that opponent. If you're doing this on a bag at home, get ready. Square up with the bag. Let's go. Guard high by the brow line. Let's step in and toss some fundamentals. Remember, this is your routine, so get creative with it and have fun. Throw what you enjoy. And work with those tools that we learned. Round elbow. Bam, bam. Round. Lead round elbow. Into the double. Guard tight. Back to stance. Turning through the hips. Boom. And the shoulders. Boom. It's going to make nice, sharp elbow strikes there. Spear elbow. Boom. Toss those other hands. Bam, 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 bam. Have fun. Rotate through. And for the rising elbow, if you're working on the bag, again, visualize an opponent coming towards you, and then meet them, boom, with the rising elbow, and follow up with your other attacks that you can use on that straight bag. If you got a round bag or a teardrop bag, then you can work those rising elbows right in. But if not, just use the other ones. Round elbow, round elbow. Work them from southpaw. Boom. Step in for the spear elbow. Work center mass. Work towards that center mass. Boom. On the back. Exhale through the strikes. Let's go. Give yourself a challenge. Work those elbows you enjoy most. Rising. Rising. Give yourself that challenge. Let's go. And work through it. Let's shadow box together. If you want to just take your shadow boxing routine intensity up, put some gloves on. Even the 16-ounce glove. will make a huge difference in intensity. Whoosh, whoosh. You'll see it. The more you challenge yourself, as long as you're not overworking, the more you'll be able to grow. Whoosh. Back to stance. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Let's go. Visualize that opponent. Turn those knuckles over. Guard tight by the brow line. Whoosh, whoosh. Rising elbows. Rising elbow. Hey. Spear elbow. Boom. Round elbows. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Guard tight, chin touch. Remember your stance. Square up after each combo and let it go. Flow with it. Hey, that's the end of round 3. I hope that you guys gave yourself a challenge. That way you can grow and continue to make that progress out there. Woo! Nice. I think I got it. I got what I was looking for. Woo! Yeah. All right, and remember, if you did not give yourself a challenge for some reason, if you took it too easy and you weren't pushing to your skill level, give yourself a bonus round right now. Now's your time. Get it in. You can be bonus round with Bob, with the heavy bag, bonus round in shadow boxing, but give yourself what you deserve. Give yourself the opportunity to grow. Shout out to Mike McFly. Appreciate you. Appreciate your support. And whoo, that felt good. Those gloves really do take the intensity up. Even a couple ounces makes a huge difference when you're keeping that guard and you're tossing those hands. You can feel it. You can feel it everywhere. So, until next time, continue to find those tools that work for you, and I will catch you same sack time, same sack channel, same sack life. Sackman out.